So thank you for listening in so far. And at this point, we are now going to switch gears and we're going to talk about what are the things we're seeing, guys. Where are people going wrong with AI right now? Because Chris, you've seen a few things at our customers, haven't you?
What we are seeing at our customers now is a very simple view of what AI is, basically based in what it was when it came out 2, 3, 4 years ago. And what that is one of three things. It's either a chat interface where you can Google stuff through chat. A second is in order to as a coding assistant to basically write code for you. And a third is as a research assistant to say, can you go and deep research this specific topic or generate something, right? And so now when businesses are looking at AI and how it augments their business and how it helps their business get into this AI era or the next era of stuff, every use case they come up with or everything they think AI can do is based in one of those three things. It's either chat or summarize this thing, do research on this other thing, or write some software for this thing, right? With the advent of MCPs and A2As and all these different protocols and AI being able to do stuff, they haven't learned about that stuff, and so they can't come up with use cases for MCP, right? You can't dig a hole if you don't know the shovel exists, as a sort of very simple analogy. But so the challenge really now is educating them on what AI is really capable of, so that they can then spark ideas to go, oh, if it can do that, then it can actually do this idea which I've had for it, which I didn't know was possible. And so we might see more interesting use cases.
Yeah, so in a sense, what we're seeing in our day-to-day work is that lots of customers or potential customers of Container Solutions have began the AI journey, but actually they've only scratched the surface on what the capabilities are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, got it. So, Onson, are you seeing something similar in your sort of travels around our customer base and across our potential customers?
Yeah, exactly. Just it's a recent example. So we are creating a taxonomy between the SaaS applications that the organization uses, and there are almost 2,000 applications that they want to reduce the number to a few hundreds, and we need to create a list of applications where the features overlap. So in a pool of 2,000 applications, there's certainly some tools that are overlapping between those features, right? So the first thing that come to their mind is to just give this list to the AI and let it just run a research and come up with the overlapping tools. Yeah, it can do that, at a point, but expecting, even for deep research, expecting a AI agent to process 2,000 applications, going through the list, getting the features, it's not a good use, right? There is definitely going to be some critical information missing. So the step beyond that is actually having an agentic workflow that would go through the tools one by one, create a taxonomy, get the features, group the features, list out the domains, and come up with a really clean list that would let you see all the overlapping tools and would tell you that you can get rid of these ones. So I see a similar pattern there everywhere I go. It's mostly, using ChatGPT interface or Claude interface or using coding tools, agents, and not going beyond what could be achieved actually to see what can be done more with the tools they have.
Is it a lack of ambition? Is that what's driving this?
I think it's a mix of both, because I've seen people doing stuff with AI using ChatGPT, but they stop there. I mean, the first thing that comes to your mind is probably asking AI how to handle stuff, right? But you go there with an idea, with your own idea. You tell the AI, I want you to do this by this way. But most of the people I see are not asking AI how to handle stuff. I mean, that might be the first thing that a person can do while starting a work with an AI. Just give the data, ask how to handle it, ask him to create an implementation plan. Just review it, move stuff, modify it, and give it back to AI and get your results back. I think that's a better workflow with working with AI.
So
this is lacking in most of the places I worked with, most of the people I worked with.
The reason I bring ambition up is as follows. Unfortunately, my line of work, you meet a lot of executives and leaders and they talk about risk a lot, but actually there's sometimes a negative correlation between how much they talk about risk and how many risks they actually take. And what I'm seeing is a lot of chatter about AI and really quite low-level stuff. It's the equivalent of putting a stateless application in a Docker container about 10 years ago. And I'm a bit like, look, this is great that you've got a bump in productivity because you're using Anthropic. And by the way, I don't know if you've got a bump in quality because your programmer's feeling like supermen or superwomen because they're so productive. Doesn't necessarily translate into more stable systems. But I'm a bit like, well, what's next? So congratulations on taking the first step. But everybody in the world has taken that step. So what next? So I personally get a little bit frustrated at the lack of ambition we see in organizations. And I think those companies who are willing to take a bit more of a risk or actually roll the dice on some of this stuff, and actually how risky is it, I think they'll see great sort of returns. I don't know if you're noticing anything like that, Chris.
I am, yeah. It's the same. We are a cloud native consultancy, and we have lots of customers who are still moving to the cloud, or halfway through moving to the cloud, or they're only just starting to think about moving to the cloud. Right? The cloud came out 2013, or 2013 was the sort of birth of it around there.
Well, actually, I mean, S3 storage came out, I think 2008. You know, so it really does depend. And there's a few stragglers claiming to have invented the cloud in about 1990. I don't know if I believe them, but I think the cloud as we know it definitely about 15 years ago. Yeah
exactly. I think it has less to do with ambition and more to do with they are stuck in the things that they are being paid for doing for the longest time. Some of them don't have the conscientiousness to actually care about whether they succeed or not, and they just do their job because that's what they do. Others have ambition to build those things, but they are being bogged down by, we need to keep up with our competitors, we need to build this product feature, we need to put this thing out. And so AI is sort of a next thing that's on a backlog. At some point we'll get to AI, like it's a plug-in thing that's going to improve the business, but it comes after all of these other bits. It's not being seen as a fundamental shift in, one, how they work today, and two, is how they build products. And I think if that mind shift changes, I think that AI ticket will come up that backlog a lot quicker and get to the top, because it's an enabler for all of the things that come below it.
Yeah, fair enough. So we've spoken about some of the challenges our customers are having around ambition, around scratching the surface. What have we done recently to help them move beyond where they're presently at?
So one thing we have done is we could talk to them about MCPs and AI and A to A, and we could talk about all that stuff all day long, and no one's going to listen, because that's how it works. So what we're actually started doing is we've got a two-man team, a two-person team now at one of our customers, and we are actually helping them build an AI solution that has all of these different parts in, that has MCP in it, and A to A in it, and OpenAI's models and all this different stuff. So we can demonstrate to them what is actually capable of happening when they combine all of these different things together. And we're hoping that way they can sort of look at that and look at the architecture of it and introspect a little bit, dig deeper into it, to really understand how they can paint together bigger pictures with agents. And what we're trying to show them is that you basically have a spectrum between deterministic and probabilistic. You don't have to choose. You could choose where your risk appetite is. If you just want a little bit of probabilistic, good, generate some summaries. If you want full probabilistic, here's an agent, give it the tools, give it a task. You can do that. Or you can sit anywhere in between those two pieces. Yeah. And we're trying to demonstrate to them that that's fully possible, so that they can then come to us with more ideas of how to actually build AI native features into their business, or how to bootstrap or fundamentally bolster their business with AI, so that they can continue faster and compete better in the market. And that means not necessarily training, but also giving them POCs, giving them MVPs, giving them things to play with, so they can see how it fits together.
Well, exactly. I always tell people that Container Solutions was basically extreme programming, but for the cloud. So pair programming and mob programming and teaming up on the same team. So not as the problem with the consultants is they always have a superiority complex. They think they're better than their customers. That's not what we do, is it? We always say, right, okay, who's available on the customer side? Who have we got? Let's put an awesome team together and then learn together. I guess that's still a pretty effective process for us, Chris.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think our customers generally what we've seen is our customers have incredible engineers, but they lack one piece of information which we might have researched because we had the time to do. And what we are really good at is coming into a business and applying that piece of knowledge in their business and helping them adapt to that piece of knowledge inside their businesses and change their processes. They have really good engineers. We're not a place where we go, we have incredible engineers, we're going to come in and help your terrible engineers. The engineers we meet are never terrible, almost never ever terrible. Yeah. Most of it is we see things from an outside perspective, and we can help them slightly change their business in a way with AI that they haven't thought of because they've been stuck in a product mindset, for example.
Yeah. What about you, Ansel? What are you seeing? How are you moving the needle with your customers right now?
The recent example I gave is just, one thing that I'm also trying to do as a team. So we are working together with them and trying to incorporate AI in the best way possible, not just, using chat interfaces or just, running some deep research. Instead, we are trying to build software that can handle their work in ways that they have never thought of before, because they were so busy with other stuff. They don't have time to run a research in every area that's possible with AI, because it's now turning into a, massive area where you need to know a lot of stuff. It was just a chat interface before, but now it's, agents, and then we have MCPs. Now it's, I see people started talking about agent protocols, which actually we really need. So there are going to be more protocols, more features, more stuff to learn, and we are helping them to learn more about this stuff and implement this in best way possible.
Very cool. Okay, so I didn't want to change this into a sales pitch, but you've teed it up so nicely for me now. I guess anybody listening in, if they need a hand with their stuff, and we can bootstrap this with 2 or 3 people, that's as easy as it is. We are in the luxurious position, Container Solutions, in the sense that we do R&D for a living. That's what we do. But we're always with customers, and we're always working out the best practices and then sharing it with the rest of our customers. So if that's something the listeners are interested in, of course, you know where to find us on LinkedIn or whatever. On that happy note, gentlemen, I think this is the end of this section. I'm going to boot you off ever so shortly, because it's time for me to speak to, I was going to say the granddaddy, but maybe the great granddaddy of cloud computing, Adrian Cockcroft. So thank you for sharing those insights into what we're doing with customers, and thank you for sort of not just explaining what some of the challenges are, but what some of the solutions might be as well.